everybody. Welcome to the inmates. Back to run the asylum again. That's right. There's no host, no captain, no dad.
Nope.
Only us.
And we're staying up late. We're eating Cheetos and like touching his pillow when he's not around. We're doing whatever the hell we want.
That's right, baby. We're running the show today. I am your host, the king of video games and resident superstar, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. And with me tonight, of course, is the heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, Mr. J.J. Purdom. How you doing, good sir?
Good friend. I thank you so very much for having me here on this epic show on April 4th. As we're coming to you, folks, when the cat's away, the mice will run around and crap all over everything. Or
that's right.
Like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Garrett, once again, is being attacked by the Fox Die virus. This is version 2.0 now. It actually makes it much worse if you survive the original. And we are, thoughts and prayers are going out to him. And we hope that he makes it through. But if not, you can see that we are clearly capable to run the ship.
I thought this was a situation where he needed to have penicillin shots because of that outbreak.
Oh, no. It's more of like the, the peanut butter shot in the Army. You know, the one where they give it to you in the keister. That's the ones he has to get.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see him going around to various armies to try to get extras. Hey, you guys got any more of those peanut butter shots? Sir, I think you've had enough.
Okay, let's see. I got it right here. So today we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild Part 2 being delayed. We're going to talk about E3 being canceled, which it should have been the entire time when it started going digital. And we're also going to talk about the quote unquote Game Pass competitor, PlayStation Plus 2.0, and how it fares against the competition. But first, of course, we got to give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Kajoma, aka Jr, Bleep Bloop, and Eddie Martin, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. Of course, you can always catch us here every Monday. Normally we stream, but my computer is just not equipped to stream and record the episodes, so we're just recording it this week. But normally you can catch us every Monday on Twitch to do our weekly episode. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys, where we host exclusives such as our Super Gamer Book Club, which the newest episode is Streets of Rage 4. And that was with our very own producer, Mr. Eddie Martin. We actually did something new for that one. We did real-time gameplay while we did the episode so that people could get so that people who watch it can get an idea of how the game works and looks and plays. So that was a kick and a half to do. And then, of course, our free one that just went up is our Super Mario Odyssey Book Club episode. And that was with Pocket, aka Super Pocket 64. We are eternally grateful that he had the time to come out and school us with his Nintendo knowledge. But of course, we'll talk all about that later on. I'm going to make the ad much more interesting than Dumbo Garrett could. Also, shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music in our show. Of course, they always produce the slaps, so we are grateful that they're allowing us to do that, and we hope that you're enjoying it. Whew, that was a mouthful. All right.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know what? And you said it so eloquently. You weren't like dragging and flopping all over your tongue like Garrett normally does when he does it. Like, you got a pretty voice, man. I just got to say, like...
Man, no, mine is all right, but the way you can flip it into like the radio talk when you're like, okay, guys, it's like, man, I wish I could do that. I'm telling you. But let's keep pushing because we're gonna get in and out, unlike a certain long-winded fella who shall remain nameless, and we're gonna move straight into the mailbag. And our first question comes from Jr, and he asks, Disney wants to get back into the games industry. They come to you and they want you to tell them which one of their properties should be turned into a game and what kind of game it should be. What are you picking?
All right, if you're calling me out, I'm going to tell you right now, I am all about the money, all about the Benjamins. Who cares about like gameplay and good stuff? I say bring me Encanto, because that's what everybody's watching right now. That's the hot prospect. You never know what's going to end up being super, super hot. So I'm sure it's hard. It's going to take years to come up with a game. But like, man, if they could hit with an Encanto game right now and it be, like a Sonic type of game, where you're running around like and doing stuff or what. I mean, I'm telling you, like you want to hit with the popular stuff. What's that?
Like you're exploring the world, right? Like Sonic, or are you talking about like it's a side scroller?
No, I'm talking about exploring. Okay. No, not a side scroller, just exploring a world like him. And so I would say like Encanto would be great. That's just one of those things, like that's money right there. So hit with something that's popular at the time. So although Disney owns everything. So
you really got free reign, honestly.
Right? Man. Yeah, I mean, I could have said like, man, I'd like to see kind of a Mandalorian game or a Boba Fett game.
Now, I would not be surprised in the least if it turns out that they were actually working on a Mandalorian game. With the way that series is going, it's only, I feel like, a matter of time. Especially because they use Unreal Engine to do the show. So it's only a matter of time until they be like, you know what? I think we can do something with this. For my pick, I'm gonna say I think they should do something with the Muppets, and I think that they should do like an RPG. I think I can really see the Muppets going on a quest. You can make it like you can write it as if it were a new movie, right? Like, you know how they did Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppets Go to Space. Right? You write it as if it were a movie, but you make it play like it's an RPG. I think that would be really cool. That would definitely. I
gotta tell you, like every once in a while, you say something that is so awesome and incredible that like you need to be given like an award for saying cool stuff sometimes, man. Because I love the Muppets. I don't know if I've ever shared that with you guys here on the show, but huge fan. I grew up watching the Muppet Show, the original Muppet Show that was on TV late at night, and they have all those guest stars come in. Love the Muppets. I don't think it gets any cooler than the Muppets. So anything that Jim Henson touched, I think is really amazing. But yeah, Muppets is a great idea. I'd love to play a game like that and an RPG to boot.
Yep,
that's great, man. Sign me up. Take my money, please.
I just got to get it. I got to get in front of the right person. That's all it's gonna take.
That's it.
All right. Next one is from Eddie Martin, and he's continuing with his Mount Rushmore phase. And have you
ever actually been to Mount Rushmore, Eddie? I feel like every week Eddie's got a new, hey, I really like that Mount Rushmore idea. So how about Mount Rushmore of toilet paper? Hey, so Charmin's really good. I love the way that it squeezes. No offense, Eddie. I love living La Vida Loca, but it's just that theme, that having to come up with four of the best of everything, and but I'll tell you what. If I were to choose, what was it? What was it for? What?
It's the Mount Rushmore of video game soundtracks. So video game music. Okay. What are you putting up there?
Okay, Super Mario stuff, because I think there's some great, the original Super Mario. Well, and when I say Super Mario, not Mario Brothers, but Super Mario Brothers, I love that music. I think that's iconic. Zelda, I want to say Breath of the Wild.
Okay,
I really like the music from Breath of the Wild. God of War.
Yeah, that's a good one.
God of War from 2018 was really incredible. And then, dang, I hate Garrett so much. Death Stranding. Oh my gosh, I know. Don't stop, dude. Just stop. Because
no. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. The soundtrack to that game, phenomenal.
Yeah, but you can't say that without Garrett getting getting erect. And so I'm just saying. He gets all excited, and you're like, calm down, relax.
He ain't getting anything but beat up on by the Grim Reaper right now because he's on death's door. So you don't got to worry about him. My four, this is gonna be a tough one. I mean, of course, Kingdom Hearts goes up there. That goes without saying. I think Street Fighter 3 would be up there for me. I think it is the best fighting game soundtrack ever made. And some have come close, but I'm sorry, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, because there was like multiple editions of it, but Third Strike is the one that I would pick in particular. I would definitely say Undertale. I think is a masterclass in music and composition, and the songs are so recognizable that they've been played at like worldwide events and people know what they are. And then finally, I'd have to say Earthbound. Earthbound.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Good
Earthbound.
choice.
Let's just, I tweeted this before and nobody fought me on it because it's kind of impossible. But Earthbound has a better soundtrack than your favorite game. And I mean that. I mean that. As an overall product, nothing sounds like it. Nothing will sound like it. It's just, it's its own thing. It's its own entity. And if you are a fan of Earthbound, you know it exactly when you hear it. So those would be my picks.
Yeah, I think that when I say that I hate to say anything positive about Death Stranding, it becomes a thing where Garrett literally loves that game. It's obviously
are you kidding?
He
I
just
drove
talks
a
about
box 500 miles to him, and I'd never seen him happier. A Death Stranding box. He almost forgot to like give me a hug when he saw me for the first time in like 3 years because he was so happy to get that dang box.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So, but no, and I have to be honest. I think Death Stranding is one of those games that just has the type of soundtrack that I can totally listen to, and I don't have to be playing the game. It's just like, man, that music is killer. It's just really, really great. It's great music. And,
honestly, no insult to the game. It's perfect walking music. Like if you're going on a walk, you just throw that bad boy on and you're good to go.
I love how you said no insult to the game.
Well, because everybody likes to say, all you do is walk. All you do is walk. It's just a postman simulator. It's a FedEx simulator, but it's really not.
No.
But yeah, I think if you like just go on a hike or like just go on a walk, you know, in your town and you throw that bad boy on, you're going to get lost in a good way.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Next one comes from Sir Prince-A-Lot, and he says, with all the crazy rumors and ideas swirling around about who should play Wolverine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who do you think would fit the role? He thinks Carl Urban is a home run. What you got?
Carl Urban.
That's the guy who played Dredd.
Okay. Oh, well, after Hugh Jackman played it, it's so hard to come up with anybody who can play it. And I don't want to say Ryan Reynolds because he plays in everything. Chris Pratt also plays in everything.
Oh, God, please. So, he's already Star-Lord.
Well, not only is he's just he's in everything.
Everything, even Mario.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's just weird. It's hard to say really who would be a really good. I could see Jason Momoa doing it. I know he was already Aquaman, but there's no reason why somebody who does DC can't do something over in the Marvel universe.
I think he's too big.
You think so?
Yeah, because Wolverine's supposed to be a little guy, and
didn't you see Logan though? Logan was ripped, man.
Yeah,
like,
no.
ripped.
I mean, when I say little guy, I don't mean like not muscular. I mean Wolverine's supposed to be like 5'3", right? Like in the comics, he's always been depicted as like this short, angry, hairy dude, and that was the one thing. But Hugh Jackman was so good that we forgave it not being a short guy. That's how good the performance was. We were like, all right. He could be tall Wolverine for now, but the character is supposed to be short. So that is the tough part because all the picks that I would pick are taller than the actual Wolverine would be. So actually I would love to see it be an unknown person.
Okay.
To come out the woodwork and just kill the role.
Okay, let's play with that then. Let maybe take away what I said about Jason Momoa, him being too big. I've got it.
Hit me.
Even though he's already known as an iconic character, Daniel Radcliffe would probably be pretty amazing as Wolverine in that traditional sense of the diminutive person, because he's a very small guy. I think that he if you've
He's
seen
gonna
some
have
of
to
his
put
work,
on about 30 pounds of muscle. Like,
I think it's possible. He's done some pretty stellar work as of late in some movies that he's been in, and he's trying to distance himself from that Harry Potter world. And he's actually got some acting chops.
but is
So
that the
I can
best?
see him.
But is that the best move for him though? Is to go from one iconic character to another iconic character? Like, think about Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, as many movies as he's gonna do for the rest of his life, people are gonna see him and immediately think Wolverine.
I think it'll be good for his pocketbook.
Oh yeah, no,
really good for
that
his
goes without
pocketbook.
saying. But you know those actor types, they're artistes. You know, they don't want to be held down by any one performance. So, and he feels like a definitely an artiste. So
Yeah, he does. You're right.
And he also needs to be able to do an accent as well as Tom Holland does, which I don't know if he can, because I don't want to hear, "Oi, bub, it's time for you to get the claws." I don't want to hear that, you know. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I mean, you know, anything is possible. I'm not gonna knock your pick, because if he comes in and happens to knock it out of the park, hey, that's more power to him.
You could always go crazy pick and just say like, "F it, Danny DeVito, get it." You know, like Danny DeVito.
If they do this multiverse thing and they have the X-Men by that time, I definitely want Danny DeVito to be one of the Wolverines, dude.
He's Wolverine from Earth 64.
Yes, yeah, he's like old man Logan from another Earth. I absolutely want that, dude. Absolutely.
You said short and hairy. That's why, you know, I'm like, there you go.
Where is he? Where's Magneto? Okay, last one. And this one comes from Boba Fletch. He says, "Talk to me. What is a game that looked so dope, and when it came out, everyone hated, but you were so excited about it that you forced yourself to say you liked it?" So it's pretty much like a game came out that you were excited for, right? And you were like, "Oh, this game's gonna be good. This game's gonna rule. This game is awesome." It comes out trash, but you're trying to save face because you were championing it the whole time, right? So what game was that for you, where you thought, you were telling everybody, "Man, this game's gonna rule. This game's gonna be awesome." And then it comes out, it sucks, right? You play it and you see it sucks, but you're not gonna let everybody win. You're not gonna let everybody know that it sucks. I said it's cool, so therefore it's gonna be cool.
Yep, easy, because it's medium for me. I try to play it up like it wasn't that bad, but it was not good.
No,
It was not good at all. I had huge expectations about medium, and I was like, this is Xbox's one chance to finally start delivering games with the stories that PlayStation does. And I was big time let down, dude. Like, when I played it, and I didn't want to admit it, because man, I was like the biggest, like, "Oh, it looks amazing." I really did. I had such high hopes for medium that I thought like it's going to be so good. I feel like for me, it's unplayable. Like, it's just,
wow,
it's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not anything like what I thought it was going to be.
That is definitely strong. I mean, I don't know if I think it was that bad. I think it definitely was not great. It wasn't awful. It wasn't unplayable, I don't think. I definitely would not play it again.
I think I built up too much expectation because those previews looked so great. And so I thought, like, this is it, you know, and it wasn't what I expected it to be. And it was not well received, but I feel like I was like, "Oh no, it's good." Like, totally. I was like, "Oh, it's good." It wasn't good. I don't, do you have a different opinion? You enjoyed the game, or?
No, I didn't particularly think it was enjoyable, but I also didn't think it was awful. It just was okay. And to me, that is the worst sin that a game or any kind of art can commit, is just being okay, right? Because okay stuff gets forgotten about. Great stuff gets remembered. Awful stuff gets remembered. Okay stuff just kind of gets lost to the sands of time. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's unfortunately what's going to happen to the medium in the near future, because it is just okay. My pick for that definitely has to go to Cyberpunk. I was so hyped for Cyberpunk. I had the collector's edition pre-ordered. I feel like I'm usually a pretty smart fella, but I didn't listen to the red flags that people were talking about when they were showing the previews, and they were only showing some, certain slices, and they were going real slow with the car so nothing broke or anything like that. I was like, no, they're just trying to show it off. And then, the game comes out and I start playing it, and I'm like, you know what? This is pretty good. And then slowly stuff starts irking me about it. This doesn't work very well. The driving is awful. I'm getting glitches left and right. But you know what? Overall, it's a good game. And slowly it was like death by 1,000 cuts. Things just started getting worse and worse and worse. And finally, I couldn't do it anymore. I refunded it. And it was heartbreaking because I had waited for that game for so long. And it looked so good. It was such a good premise. But it wasn't anything. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't anything. It wasn't near the original vision that they put out, or that they were, in the original trailers. And it wasn't a finished product by development standards. So that one was kind of like a two-piece combo that really did me in, unfortunately.
Now, have you gone back and completed it since they've done all the patches and tried to fix the game up? Do you still have the same opinion of it? Or did you have such a bad time with it? You're like, I know I've kind of washed my hands.
Yeah, at this point, I've kind of washed my hands. I mean, I may go back and read the story somewhere just to see exactly how it plays out, or I'll watch it on YouTube or something to see if it's available that way. But overall, I even tried to play a little bit when they had that free demo of it for a little while. And I'm just like, man, they didn't really fix anything that, warranted fixing. It's just bugs. Like the driving is still awful. The shooting is still awful, but yeah, I don't have any desire to go back to it. And that's such a shame.
You'll forgive me because I don't really know, but is it on Xbox Game Pass right now?
It isn't now, but I'd probably say give it about 6 months and you'll probably see it there.
Okay, I'd heard a rumor that it was going to be possibly coming out in the next couple of months.
I honestly would not be surprised if it shows up on Game Pass. I would definitely tell you, and look, and it's only about $14 now. I would still tell you to keep your duckings and wait. Because maybe you may have a different opinion because you don't have to pay for it, and it's like, oh, this was a fun little game. But I ponied up the full retail amount for that, and it was, yeah. Okay.
I'm glad you got your money back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that is it for the mailbag. I think we did a pretty good job there. Got in, got out, gave a little bit of gave us some meaty answers. And we are moving straight into the nerdy news.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Like sweet honey, right into the ear every time. My goodness.
You don't want to get honey in your ear though. That really sucks. But I don't know if you know.
Oh, nerdy news, honey, absolutely. So our first story is that comes from, let's see here, comes from IGN, and it's that E3 2022, both digitally and physically, has been officially canceled. And I'll read you the story here. It's an article by Rebecca Valentine, and she says, after previously canceling its in-person E3 2022 event, the ESA has now informed its partners that there will be no digital event either this year, meaning E3 2022 has fully been canceled. So they originally wanted it to be both an online and an in-person event First, the in-person one got canceled, and then the digital one got canceled. So they're already off to a bad start. The news broke via a tweet from Razer PR lead Will Powers, who said that an email had been sent out announcing the cancellation of a digital E3 event. IGN has independently verified the contents of this email as well, so it's the real deal. The ESA had initially planned for an in-person E3 event this year after having no event in 2020 due to COVID-19 and a digital one in 2021, which was garbage, by the way. The main E3 stuff, whack. All the people who had their own directs was awesome. Just want to throw that out there. However, this was canceled in January with the ESA with the ESA at the time unable to make a public statement on whether or not there would be a digital equivalent. According to sources speaking at IGN at the time, discussions around E3 have been fraught throughout the year, with third parties normally involved finding the ESA's ongoing silence regarding their plans frustrating. Sources connected to the event tell IGN that discussions about a possible digital equivalent event have been ongoing ever since, but without strong momentum to drive them. Instead, the ESA seems to be making plans to regroup for a larger comeback in 2023. So, E3 sucks. Costs a lot of money to get there. Everybody's kind of finding out that it costs a lot of money and they can just do their own thing. And I think that we, which is a historic moment, have actually witnessed in our lifetime the last E3 conference.
I think that's devastating, man, because there was a few years ago, I don't know if you recall, but E3 was such a huge convention for gamers a few years ago. It was a destination spot.
Yes, dude.
And then one of the things is I mean, I looked forward to it each year, and I was having to hear about it secondhand and watch it digitally because I wasn't going to the events. But I looked forward to the time when I thought that Super Gamer Boys was going to try to make an appearance at an E3 to be able to get in there and go check it out on the ground floor. And then COVID hit and things kind of changed. PlayStation backed out. And the moment that happened, I think personally, that was the death toll.
Yep.
That the bells started ringing, that their end was near, because when one of the two large distributors of video games ends up pulling out, and arguably the larger of the companies as far as what they were putting out, their output and who owns consoles and whatnot, them pulling out was a huge kick in the crotch. And I think it was hard to come back from that. Xbox did a great job maintaining and staying with E3 and doing their own thing, and Switch kind of stepped in and held their own. And then eventually it just kind of was like everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And like you said, those digital things that E3 was doing, the digital E3 was horrible, man. It defeats the entire purpose of like all the gamers that would like jump in there. It also started to become really corporate, where they were just like trying to make money on it. They were trying to make money on these conventions. And it was like almost like a gamer's version of San Diego Comic-Con,
right?
Where like, you know, they're like, okay, let's make some money. Let's print some t-shirts. like let's, you know, make hats and buttons and pins or, you know, whatever. And it's like, okay, I think you're kind of missing the point. Yeah, it's great. You want to make money and you got all these people here, but it was like a cash grab.
But that was the big thing with E3 though, right? With E3 being canceled, is a lot of those companies are like, well, we don't have to make those t-shirts and we don't have to, you know, find a way to make money if we don't have to spend any money, right? So if we just do our own thing digitally, that way we still get the information out there about what games are coming out. And you're telling us we don't have to fly half our staff out there on our dime and put them up in hotels on our dime? Absolutely, we're doing that. And that kind of spread throughout the industry like wildfire. And E3 was terrified that people found this out. For some reason, they just thought, oh, people are too dumb to realize that they don't need us. And sure enough, everybody knows now. It honestly, I don't see why you would go physically to an E3 unless you had business with other publishers or developers. Like you're an indie publisher or an indie studio who wants to, have meetings with bigger publishers and stuff like that, I could definitely see you going. If you're a gaming fan, I could definitely see you going, but there's honestly not going to be too much if we keep going at the rate we're going and people pulling out of E3. So, yeah.
I think that the way the entire industry has been heading, and I think it's kind of a smarter way to do it, is like you're saying, everybody doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of the directs.
Yeah.
So I really think that that's kind of the way of not only the present, but the future of doing PlayStation Directs and, Nintendo Directs. It's like, okay, we've got a couple of games or some new hardware that we're trying to put out there. We're going to do a direct. So we're going to talk directly to our audience that is interested in our product. And we're going to put this stuff out on the different social media sites and on our website and all that kind of stuff. And it ends up, it's streamed on Twitch. It's a huge deal for these directs to come out and say, hey, Xbox is doing this great thing right now with these 2 new games that are going to be coming out. And here's some gameplay. And let's talk to the people who, directed it and whatever. And like that, it's way, way more easy to digest than going to like an E3. And it's like, oh, you get in for 45 minutes and now you're all caught up with everything Xbox. Because why do I care about what PlayStation is doing? I don't have a PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think directly marketing to your audience is a much smarter idea than going and having to pay down the fees to hold your booth over at the E3. I think the E3 attempt at the convention, like a San Diego Comic-Con, dead. I think it's dead. We're not going to see it again. And if we do, I'll be surprised. It'll probably be a truncated version of what it once was a few years ago.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it had to go out with such a whimper, but I honestly think that, like you were saying, once Sony pulled out, that's just the way that things were going to evolve with game conferences and press conferences and events like that. It just, as a company, it doesn't make financial sense if you're just going there to show off your games, to go out there and buy the space and set all that stuff up. So I totally get it. Rest easy, E3. It was one of my life's dreams and goals to make it to one of them one day, but I guess that, things change, unfortunately. And we will just have to find, something else to do. And just keep pushing. Something else will come up. Somebody else will do something cool and we'll be there. Don't worry.
We could always go to San Diego Comic-Con on Garrett's dime with all the Morlang fortune.
Yeah, good luck trying to get... I've been trying to get tickets for the past 6 years. Ain't been working out too well. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I get beat out every time.
The bots buying them up super quick.
Yep. Okay. Here we go. So our next story is also from IGN. And this news kind of... it broke and then it kind of did the mushroom cloud effect where it spread throughout Twitter and social media like a wildfire. And that is that the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, also commonly known as Breath of the Wild 2, has been delayed to 2023. Now, it was originally scheduled for late this year, and that was the first time that we got a date. And there was a lot of people who were saying there's no way it hits that date. They're going to take more time, and there are a lot of people saying, well, if they put the date out, they must be really confident in it. And sure enough, one of those groups was right. And the article goes like this from Joe Screbbles. It says the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been delayed to spring 2023. And we got a tiny piece of new footage in return. Series producer Eiji Aonuma announced and apologized for the delay in the video below in the article, saying, in order to make this game's experience something special, the entire development team is continuing to work diligently on this game. So please wait a while longer. No specific reason was given for the delay. They did show a quick snippet of some new stuff that they were working on, and it shows long hair Link that everybody has been thirsting over on the internet recently. And it shows that he has like a almost like a corrupted or grafted on arm. That kind of, it's like a dark dead flesh color, and it is holding what seems to be like a corrupted master sword. So everybody naturally has questions about it. Nobody really knows what's going on. But we are all waiting with bated breath. I don't know how you feel about it, but honestly, I just restarted Breath of the Wild 1, and if it's anything like the first time I played it, I'll probably be done by the time the next one is ready to come out. So there's so much to do in that game.
Doesn't it feel like they just announced that Breath of the Wild 2 was coming out in 2022? I mean, it feels like it was really, really recently that they said that, and then to turn around and then say, "Hey, we're pushing it back." I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that, and I know like that was pretty much the consensus. Everybody felt like this is a daunting task. That game is so huge in its scope on the Switch. For crying out loud. It's a giant game, and it's just, there's a lot of undertaking in that game. So they're going to have to really bring their A game, because Breath of the Wild is amazing. And I'm sure they have the ability to bring part 2 to be like a really great game. But if they don't, I know a lot of people are going to be very devastated, man, because
it'll be all for nothing. You have to make it as good or better than the first one. And that's saying a lot, because the first one in most circles is regarded like one of the best games ever made. So that's a lot of pressure.
Sequels are always really hard. Are always really hard. I mean, when you have like, just use a game, Last of Us, you have a game like Last of Us coming out with 2, it's very hard because people have high expectations of the original. And that's the same thing here. People have huge expectations. That game is just amazing. And how can you meet that level? And you have to either meet it or exceed it. And anything less would be uncivilized. No, wait, that's a right guard sports stick commercial.
It applies. It works the same. Don't worry about it.
No, I think like, yeah, I'm not shocked by it. It does make me want to go get a Switch and then play some Breath of the Wild before this comes out, because
way ahead of you, buddy.
A little bit that I've seen, I'm like, hey,
get ready to not do anything but play that game. The first time around, I promise you, I had at least like 180 hours. And
oh my god,
yes, there is that much stuff to do in that game, and I didn't even do all of it. Not nearly all. I did maybe. If I'm being honest, because I really wanted to see how the story was playing out in the original, I may have done a third of what that game can offer as far as like total content.
Where are you at on it now? I mean, where are you at in the game, and how far have you gotten through this playthrough?
So I am definitely taking way more time. I'm much more focused on doing the side quests and objectives and finding weapons and upgrading my stats and things like that. So I am, moving at a snail's pace. I did do one divine beast, but that was to make sure that I could get there's a power that you get when you die that lets you resurrect. And because I don't have very many hearts right now, it is very helpful. But other than that, I really haven't touched the main quest line at all. And it is a bear of a quest left. I think probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to just piece it out. I'm going to just keep chiseling at the side quests and be way too overpowered for the main story, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, there's so much to do in that game, dude. It's a good warning, but a warning.
Okay. And I'll take that warning. It's kind of like me playing Elden Ring because I'm so I'm just kidding.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Tarnished. Let's see here. And then finally, our last story for today is that is also coming from IGN, is that PlayStation officially announces an all new PlayStation Plus subscription with multiple tiers and quote unquote retro games. So this is PlayStation's answer to, well, not, they're going to say it's not an answer, but it's clearly an answer to Game Pass. They're trying to do something to stay in the ring with the subscription battle, which Game Pass is right now and has been for a long time cleaning their clock as far as value for what you pay for. And the article goes like this, also by Joe Scrubbles. It says that Sony has finally revealed its Xbox Game Pass competitor, an all-new PlayStation Plus that brings together the existing PS Plus and PS Now games into a 3-tier setup. And it says, after months of reports and even longer being speculated about, Sony finally revealed the new service today. It consists of 3 tiers: PlayStation Plus Essential, PlayStation Plus Extra, and PlayStation Plus Premium. At its top tier, which is the Premium, it'll offer more than 700 games either for streaming or download, including streaming on PCs. And the library will be regularly refreshed. PS3 games, this is one of the biggest bummers. I'll explain that in a little bit. PS3 games will be available as streaming only titles, while PS1, PS2, and PSP games will come with download or streaming options. Sony has also made it clear that unlike Game Pass, first-party exclusives will not be launched into the service for any tier. Oh boy. You know, they had the chance to do something great here, and they took shortcuts and they didn't want to really put the work in, and now they are out there with a subpar product. I don't know exactly what they were thinking here.
You cannot tell me that this is not a direct response to what Game Pass has been doing.
You'd have to be a fool to not think that.
Yeah, it's very obvious that's what this is. I don't think it sounds horrible. I don't think it sounds horrible, but what is the price point? Did we go over the price point, or did they cover that in the...
So I think they did. Let me find it in the article. I think it's a lot, though.
Okay.
So the PlayStation Plus Essential is pretty much the same thing that people are getting now, which is like the $9.99 a month, you know. And then the PlayStation Plus Extra, which is the one where you get a little bit more. You get the first party games, or you get the first and third party games that they put on there, but you don't get retro games. And that is about $15 a month. And then PlayStation Premium, which is all that stuff before, and you get the old PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP games.
So essentially what they did was they took PS Now and they just branded it under PS Plus.
Correct. And they merged it all together. And
yes,
it doesn't seem like they really know what they want to do. They don't have a clear vision. No. The biggest thing for me is they don't tell you which games are coming to the service as far as the retro games are concerned. So we don't know. They want me to pay, $17, $18, and I don't know exactly what's going to be in the service. And also that PS3 games can't be downloaded. They can only be streamed. Dumb. It's because Sony doesn't want to put the effort in or put the money in to make an actual PS3 emulator. My thinking was, and I'm sure there's of course a lot of reasons why this couldn't be done, but I feel like it's been so long since PS3 has come out. Why can't they do like how they did with the original PS3 when they put the PS2 guts in there, when they put the chip in there? Why can't they put that cell processor in a PS5? That way you don't have to emulate anything. It's the actual hardware in there. I feel like the cost of that chip must be much lower than it was in 2006.
It's got to be.
So why not put that in the unit? And then I'm sure it won't make enough of a difference to where you have to charge more for the system. Maybe you'd have to rethink your thermal stuff a bit, but why not? I don't understand these companies' resistance with not letting people play their old stuff. It never has made sense to me. I hate it when they do it. Nintendo hasn't been the best about it either. Although this PlayStation service sounds eerily similar to the Nintendo service, where you're paying a fee to play online and you're paying for them to download a selection of old games and not everything, and you don't get to keep them. And also you can stream some games, but you can't download them. They sound exactly the same almost. And neither of them have day one games on it. So I don't know why this isn't getting a lot of flack, but the Nintendo service is. Granted, they're both not great. Let me reiterate. They suck. These are not good service plans, but they are similar, and I think they both deserve the same level of criticism, especially Sony, who has the means to do something about it.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see, because I do the $10 a month PlayStation Plus right now, and for what I get with the PS5, we get a couple, 2-3 games a month, because there's usually typically like 2 games and they throw in a couple of extra games or whatever. I think it's a good service. There's a lot of months that we end up getting games and I'm like, I'll put it in the library, but I'm never going to download it. I'm never going to play that game. There's a lot of that, actually. So I've been kind of becoming disenfranchised with the PS Plus as of late. The only reason that I've really kept it is because of the access to the PS Plus collection. So when you have a PS5, you have a collection of 20 of the premier PS4 games. And so that's God of War, No Way Out. I mean, there's a lot of different games that are on that are just top rate, phenomenal stuff. And I would hate to lose all of those games, but those games are also inexpensive enough that I can go, if I really like a few of them, I can go and just buy them outright at a GameStop. Are those still around? I'm not really sure.
What, GameStops?
Yeah. I don't know if we still have any of those.
I believe they are.
Aren't they in a change where they're going to be like a retro center? Or
I think that was the idea before COVID, and then COVID came around, and they're like, actually, you guys are not sitting next to each other. How about that?
Right.
No, I think the big thing about this is a lot of those old PS1 and PS2 games are they're either extremely hard to come by or they're incredibly expensive because of the collector market now. So this would have been a good idea to kind of help alleviate that for people who just want to, you tell them, hey, you pay $18 here and you can play all the rarest PS1 and PS2 and PSP games. That would have been more of an incentive, but I just don't see them going that route. And I think they really missed a big opportunity here, unfortunately. I mean, there's always a chance to course correct over time, but out the gate, this is not a very good looking service at all. I can't, and then they said also that stuff is it's gonna be ever revolving or ever changing. So that means a lot of the games that launch with this service, that if they launch it and they go, oh, here's all the all-star PlayStation, games, eventually some of those are gonna leave.
Again, that's something that PS Plus does. And it's one of the reasons why I've never really been a huge fan of PS Plus. Because let's say you've got Red Dead Redemption 2 for a short time and you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and they're like, hey, you've got another week and then no more Red Dead Redemption 2. We're getting rid of it off of the service. That's heartbreaking, man. If you're in the middle of that game where you're like, man, I'm 50 hours deep. I've still got another 50 plus hours of gameplay that I can get out of this thing. There's still more juice on the berry, baby. And I kind of want to get my juice. So yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the switching around. And I get that, hey, it's been around for like 6 months and we're going to be taking this one off and cycling in some stuff. Xbox does that. They'll take games off, then move off of the service, but not with the regularity that PS Now does. I'd be curious to see at my $10 rate that I'm paying right now, what the increase would be in content and the differences with PS Plus at that $15 rate.
You want me to tell you what it is? To quote the late great Willy Wonka, you lose. You get nothing. Good day, sir.
Yeah, well, that sounds about accurate.
Your $10 a month plan gets you exactly what you were getting before. The PS Plus, the free games every month, and the ability to play online. You don't get access to any of that other good stuff.
So, but the $15, that's the next tier, is
Right.
what I was curious. Now, what comes with that? What would be enticing enough to get me to drop an additional $5 a month for this service?
So that's the one where they start rolling the PS Now in there. So if you saw anything, and let's say you're new to PlayStation, and PS5 is your first PlayStation, PS Now would be a boon for you, because you can go back and play all the available greatest hits. It's not every single one, but like the handpicked curated ones, and they'll say, oh, this one, these are the ones that you should play. So that would be compelling. And then the next one up is the one where they add the retro games, the PS1, PS2, PSP games. Again, I said that one would be cool if, they had all of them there, because some of these games are, coming up on A, 20 plus years old, and B, some of them are going as high as $400. So to only play, only pay 18 to be able to play a $400 game would have been a no-brainer. But we don't know what's going to be on there, and we don't know when it's going to leave. So it's kind of hard to judge that.
Yeah. Well, it remains to be seen. I'll probably want to check it out a little bit myself before I make final judgment on it. But
Please
it doesn't sound great. Yeah, it doesn't sound great. It sounds kind of hokey. It sounds like they don't have all their ducks in a row. Game Pass is a juggernaut. It's an absolute juggernaut. And I think that Sony has carved out a niche for themselves. They've been complacent. And hey, we just been kicking butt. We're Sony, like we're PlayStation. This is what we do.
Yep, they do that every third system. I don't know why they keep doing that, but
Xbox keeps doing this thing where they're like the little engine, where they put in the work, man. And Game Pass kicks butt.
Yeah,
it's just it's absolutely incredible service that Xbox provides for gamers. And it's not for like a casual gamer, it's for all gamers. And so I think that they need to take a page out of their book and change it up. And instead of pulling over PS Now that wasn't working and just putting it under that banner, I just don't think it's going to be very good.
Well, I always say you don't want anything ever to fail. So we don't want to see it fail. I do hope that they take notes and are able to adjust, and hopefully one day we'll be looking at this as a viable Game Pass competitor. But until then, we're just going to have to play the wait and see game. That will do it for news. We did it, baby.
Yeah, we got through it.
Came out of news, yep. And now we're going straight into, how does Gary do it? The Patreon ad.
The Patreon ad. Please give us money. Hey, if you want to support the Super Gamer Boys, you can go to patreon.com/Super Gamer Boys. Or is it the Super Gamer Boys?
It's regular Super Gamer Boys, yeah.
Just Super Gamer Boys. And here's the deal. You can give us money each and every month, whether it's $1. You want to give us $1, we'll take your buck. You want to give us $5, we'll take that too. If you wanted to give us $10, you could be what? Is it a
15?
Is it 15?
Mm-hmm.
15, $10, 15, and you can be the grand poobah of the Super Gamer Boy. Is that one of our titles?
Well, I mean, we treat them as grand poobahs, of course. We love everybody who supports us, no doubt, on any level.
Definitely.
But $15 turns you into a Super Gamer producer, and that's where you get into the high level, high dollar, high roller, closed door meetings that nobody else knows about.
You get exclusive access to Garrett Morlang's OnlyFans account.
Exactly.
And check it out. He does a lot of dirty stuff. Like, he pulls out all the stuff. Well, he pulls out a lot of stuff. But I'll tell you what, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Super Gamer Boys and giving us the producer credit of $15 a month. Man, that'd be awesome. Imagine the stuff that you could do, plus all that OnlyFans content. and I've never seen it, but I hear that it's pretty entertaining.
Not only that, but if you do join our Patreon, even at just $1, you get early access to episodes. That's right, you get them right after we record them that night before they normally go up on Wednesday. And then you get access to the show that I host, which is, a quality primetime content, Super Gamer Book Club. You get that early. You get that about 2 months early. And then it'll go on the free feed in about 2 months. And then finally, while we love our Patreon and our people who support us there, if you're maybe like, I'm not a Patreon type of cat, I'm not a Patreon type of gal, I'm not a Patreon person, that's okay, because you can subscribe to us on Twitch. Now, look, here's where Garrett always messes it up. You can subscribe to us with Prime Gaming. That's right, it's called Prime Gaming, where it's a free subscription via Amazon, and they basically take they call up Jeff Bezos, right? And Jeff Bezos is walking around, he's got his big old wallet, right? And actually, they don't call him, they call a third-party agency. And you know how when people are trying to steal wallets out of people's back pockets, they do that fishing hook thing where they reel the fishing hook and they throw it and they hook the wallet and then they, pull it back like they're pulling a fish. That's how they do it. They do it every time, and they get $5 from Jeff Bezos' wallet every time. So every time you click that button, $5 comes out of his wallet and goes into ours. And we appreciate every single time and every single one of you who take the time to do that.
Also, don't they get to tell us what to do? I think that's one of Garrett's favorite things to say. Like,
he loves saying that, huh? You get to tell us what to do. You get to tell me to get down on all fours. What?
He's into that domination thing. Like, he just wants to be dominated. But here's the deal.
Look, I'm not shaming him. I'm not shaming this
kid.
No, but
yeah, but the thing is you do get to help us out if you support us on Patreon at that producer level at $15 a month. You can end up giving us segment ideas. So if you have a segment, I know that the Super Indie Boys that Adrian came up with, that came up when we had him as a Patreon producer. So that's something that you can do too. If you have an idea for a segment, we'll gladly take it under advisement. It may or may not suck, but hey, why not? Let's just
give it a shot. That's the whole point of you being a producer. You're working with the talent, baby. We're trying to figure it out.
That's it. And if you know Garrett, you know that Garrett's willing to try anything. And I mean anything. All right.
For the right tier.
Right.
All right. That'll do it for the ad. Let's get back to the show. Mr. Purdom, we've come to the section in the show where I want to know, and I'm sure the people are dying to know, what you've been playing.
All right, so I've got a couple of things. A couple nights ago, I got to play this game, Unraveled 2. So I've played Unraveled. Unraveled is a great game where you're like a yard of string, and you're running around in this great world, jumping and trying to traverse. It's like a platformer where you're this ball of string, and you're losing out your string as you're walking, and then you have to find other balls of string and kind of wrap them up around yourself. Well, I played Unraveled 2 with my daughter. I felt like I didn't have any one-on-one time with my daughter, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go in and I'm hang out with her. Just her and I are going to play. And I said, hey, what do you want to play? Let's play a game. And so she chose Unraveled 2, and we played Unraveled 2 together for a couple of hours and had an absolute blast. It's a really great game. It's on Game Pass right now. So if you have Game Pass, check it out. It's a really fun platformer. Like I said, I did that for a couple of hours one night, but the game that I've been playing religiously as of late and just really loving so much, Far Reaching Tides. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this game, but this game is a remarkably beautiful game that is just like all the games that I've been playing over the last year. I've fallen in love with indie games that are platformers and things like this. I don't know where I started hearing this crap about, but games like Limbo, games like this, just they have
Boy,
just
man, you just must have been walking down the street and I don't know, a lightning bolt must have just hit you, and you were like, "Oh my goodness, independent development. How did I not know?"
Maybe the greatest moment of my entire life, and possibly the greatest moment of this show, was when I started telling you about how I was playing Little Nightmares. I know I'm not supposed to say Little Nightmares, where I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love Little Nightmares," and you were like, "Yay, you played it! That's awesome!" Because I was talking about it last week on the show, and I was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" Like,
I'll never forget it. As long as I live, I'll never forget it. That was the second, like, I had an internal monologue, and I'm like, "What is it all for? What am I doing it for?"
The great thing is, that wasn't even me doing a comedy bit. Like, I was completely clueless.
Like, you were in love with that game. I was like, "Yes, finally, I'm seeing fruits of my labor."
Oh man!
Turns out it was not so.
No credit to yours, brother. No, so I've been playing Far-Reaching Tides, and it's actually one of those really fun games that just have a lot of heart, and it's on Game Pass too. So if you get a chance to play Far-Reaching Tides, it's a lot of fun, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it.
Now, how does it work? What's it about?
So it's a guy on a ship, and it's like just an unusual ship that's like made out of like steampunk type of ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going through, very similar to Inside. You're like having to figure out, how do I get through this door? How do I, I got to swim through this area, and how do I get up this ladder? And how do I turn the, you're figuring out things like these little puzzles throughout this stuff. So you'll get to a place where you're in the boat, and then you have to go and like move stuff, or you have to figure out, okay, I need to get through this section in order to be able to, fight for something or to look for something. And it's just been so much fun, man. So if you get an opportunity, I don't know if you've played it or not. I think you've played every indie game.
I tried.
So, well, play this one, man. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I got the Uno reverse card played on me tonight. Somebody told me about an indie game. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So as I was saying before, I've been juggling a lot of games. Mainly the big two have been Breath of the Wild. I went back into started playing that again. That has taken over everything for me. Stopped Elden Ring in its tracks, which I do intend to get back into at some point. Not because it's a bad game, but just because that's how good Zelda is. And then on the other hand, I'm also playing Tunic, which is the Zelda inspired adventure game that you play as a little fox in. Both of these games are also very good, very, very good. I cannot sing their praises enough. I already did a Indie Boys on Tunic, so you know how I feel about that. And Breath of the Wild is a certified classic. But in the meantime, when I have, maybe a quick 5 minutes or just enough time to really boot something up, maybe I'm in line somewhere, or I'm just, I got a quick little 10-minute break at work or something like that. I've actually been playing a little bit of a PSP classic that's called Patapon. And it's a rhythm game where you take control of how should I say? No, I think you got some rhythm down there, somewhere deep down. But it's a rhythm game where you take, I'll put it in general terms. You take control of like a ancient tribe of little characters, and you help them to go out and forage for food, or advance and expand their territory, all in the name of fulfilling a large quest, which you are basically like their deity that's going to help them do that. And it's really charming. It's perfect. The levels maybe last about 3.5 minutes on average. But yeah, I played it when it came out long days of old ago. That kids who were born that year are getting ready to go to either middle or high school at this point. That's how long it's been out. But yeah, so I'm kind of been juggling those three, and that's where I'm at. I'm doing a happy medium, and as soon as something else comes out that will steal my attention away, like it seems to always do, I'll let you know.
Awesome.
And with that, we did it, baby.
All right, we
made it to the end. Under
so proud of you.
An hour and a half. How you feel about that? Succinct. We put it in right here. Look, it's a lean sandwich, but guess what? In the middle, it's still very substantial, very nutritious for you.
There's meat there. Actually,
Exactly.
I think we talked a half hour after the recording started, so Garrett's gonna have to cut that part off.
Well, that's what he gets for being sick. I don't feel bad about it at all. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you very much for everybody who supports us on Patreon, on Twitch, and even just listening. You don't really have to give us any money, but the fact that you're listening to us at all means that we must be doing something right. So we'll take what we can get.
We'll definitely take your money, though.
Oh, we'll take your money.
Don't feel like
we'll take your money, but we also take warm fuzzies as well. I'll take those. We also have merch. We have a merch store. That's sgbstore.com. We got all types of goodies over there. We got clothes, we got accessories, we got masks, and we, I don't know if you've seen, but we've just done a recent rebrand with our logo design, and I'm sure that the head honcho is working on a new line of stuff to reflect that, so keep your eyes peeled on our store. Of course, you can always rate and review us on the podcast service of your choice. That always helps us to get up in the rankings and gets more eyes on us, and hopefully gets us to whatever is going to replace E3 in time. And once again, shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music. You can find them on any major music service. So your Apple Musics, your Spotify's, your Google Play Music. Oh wait, they don't have Google Play anymore. Your YouTube Musics, SoundCloud, what have you. Mr. Purdom, thank you for joining me this evening. I think we did a pretty bang up job. Where can the good people find you? And
you guys can find me all the time on Twitter and Instagram at JJ Purdom. And yes, I am on there all the time. I literally check it every single day now. I've started to become a Twitter head, and it's just as I'm sure Twitter is gonna like die or fall off the map. That's when I finally start tweeting all the time, you know.
Good sir, don't forget.
It's not hot anymore.
Don't forget you got your wrestling show.
That's true. Yeah, please don't forget to follow us and watch us at the new podcast that I'm doing that is produced by the Super Gamer Boys. We had episode 1 last week. Episode 2 will be dropping this coming Friday as you listen to this. It's the Super that was the Super Gamer Boys.
You can't forget your own podcast name. You're too early in the game for that.
It's the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast.
There we go.
This coming week's episode, we talk about WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania, the extravaganza that happened a couple of days back. One night, we just went ahead and broke it up because it's like 8 hours of wrestling, man. So, but we kept it tight, a tight 45 minutes talking about night 1, and that'll be dropping on Friday. You can get that at any of your podcast streaming apps, just like you get the Super Gamer Boys. Remember it, it's the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, and you hear me a little bit different than you hear me on this show. I'm actually steering the ship. I'm running the thing. Yeah, it's kind of a little wacky and wild, but hey, whatever. You know, whatever.
Look at us, man. We got a whole little suite of content now. We got something for everybody. We're diversifying our portfolio. Isn't that what they say in big investor talk?
They actually do say that, and we got Garrett's OnlyFans. So
see, we got something for everybody.
Well, yeah, there's revenue streams, dude. We're trying to make money there. You know, like.
And of course, you can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy. That's HOLMBOI. JJ, do you mind taking us home?
I would love to. Ladies and gentlemen, because Garrett is sick with syphilis or something, for the incredible, the amazing, the adorable Homeboy Adrian Holmes and myself, Juicy JJ Purdom, we and we alone are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop. Hey, congratulations, Bianca Belair, on your championship win. Woo!
Right?
Way to go.
Yep.